अयुक्तः प्रकृतितः स्तवदः सठो निसकृतो लशः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तमस उचेतः.
Translation: the worker who is always engaged in the work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance.
बुद्धे वेद दुर्ते सचैव गुणास्तास्त्रिविधि गुणा प्रोच्यमानमशेषं पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय.
O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature.
प्रवृत्तं च निवृत्तं च कारे कारे भयाभये बन्धं मोक्ष च या वेदी बुद्धः सा पथ सात्विकी.
O son of Prithvi, Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness.
यया धर्म च कार्यमेव च यथा यथावत् प्रजानति बुद्धिः सा पार्थराजसी.
O son of Prithvi, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and the action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion.
अधर्मधर्मिति या मनाते धर्मसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीता स बुद्धिः सा पार्थतमासी.
That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance.
धृतायात धारते मनः प्राणो क्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचार्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी.
O son of Partha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadiness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the modes of goodness.
यया तु धर्मकर्मथन् धृता धारयतेऽर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकाङ्क्षा धृतिः सा पार्थराजसी.
But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna.
यया सोपनं भयं शोकं विषादमदवेव च न विमुञ्चन्ति दुर्मेधा धृतः सा पार्थतामसी.
And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness.
सुखं तव इदीनं त्रिविधं शृणोमि भरतर्षभ अधया सादरमत यत्र दुःखानतं सा निच्छन्ति.
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress.
यदा यदाग्रे विषमिं परिणामे मृतोपमं तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोतमाथ बुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
That which is in the beginning may just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness.
विषेन्द्रियसंयोगयतताद अग्रे मत्प्रामामं परिणामे वैषव्या तत् सुखं रजसं स्मृतम्.
That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at the first, but poison at the end is said to be the nature of passion.
यद् अग्रे यद् यद् अग्रे चानुबन्धे सा सुखं महानामन् आत्मानः निन्द्रलस्य प्रमदतं तत्तमासम् उदत्रतम्.
And that happiness which is blind to self realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be the nature of ignorance.
न तत् न ददस्ति पृथिव्यां यदिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैमुक्त यदविह स्याचिभिर्गुणः.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system, which is freed from these three modes born of material nature.
ब्राह्मणः क्षत्रियविषमं शूद्रनं सापरनतप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभावैर्गुणैः.
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in the accordance with material modes, O chastiser of the enemy.
सामोदामस्तपः शौचं क्षत्रि आरभम् इव सा जन्मं विजनम् अक्षतं ब्रह्मकर्म शुभहं जम्.
Prabhu, can you scroll up there? Okay. Peacefulness, self control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
शौर्य तेजो धृतिदास्यं युद्धे चापलायनं धनमीश्वरभावस्य छात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम्.
Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of the work for the Kshatriyas.
कृषि गौरक्षा वाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचयात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम्.
Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for Sudras, there are labor and service to others.
स्वे कर्मण्यविरतः संसिद्धि लभते नरः स्वकर्मणि रतः सिद्धिं यथा विनन्ति तच्छुगुण.
By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done.
यतः प्रवीतुनः येने सर्मिदं तत्तं सर्वकर्मात्मवस्या सिद्धिं विवन्ति मानवः.
By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work.
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परं धर्मात् सोऽनिष्ठतात् स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction.
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदोषमपि न त्यजेत सर्वारम्भा हि दोषेण धूमेनाग्निरिवावृताः.
Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault.
असक्तबुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगतसुप्रः नैष्कर्म्या सिद्धिं परमा संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति.
One who is self controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction.
सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्मा तथापनीति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा.
O son of Kunti, learn from me how one has achieved this perfection, can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize.
बुद्धया विशुद्धया युक्तो धृतात्मानं नियम च शब्दानि न विषया सत्यक्त्वा रागदेशौ विदश्च विविक्तसेवी लघुवासी यता वाक्यायं मानसः ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्य समुपाश्रितः अहंकार बलदर्प कार्मं क्रोधं परिग्रह विमुच्य निर्ममः शांतो ब्रह्म यूया कल्पते.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from the false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from the false proprietorship and peaceful, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self realization.
Hey Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, Mataji. So beautifully recited in Sanskrit and English. Thank you so much. It is wonderful to hear when you are reciting. Thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhuji. I did not pronounce it correctly sometimes.
It is so beautifully recited, Mataji. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Okay, so if you're all happy, we shall move on to the next part of our program. This is Japa. So before we start our Japa, so can I request any devotees to do Jai Shri Krishna 3 times, and then we shall do the Japa. Hare Krishna.
I'll do, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If anyone has not yet completed the chanting, so kindly complete the chanting behind. So meanwhile, we shall enter into next part of our program, that is Kirtan. So today it is our Kirtan by Manamohini Indaleka Mataji and her daughter Harshita Mataji. Hare Krishna, Manamohini Indaleka Mataji and Harshita Mataji.
Hari Bol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So when you are ready, Mataji. So
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Kirtan, Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Prabhu, it's a Vaishnava bhajan. Krishna Prema Mai Radha.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Yes, Prabhu.
कृष्ण प्रेममयि राधा राधा प्रेममयो हरि
Krishna Prema Mai Radha राधा प्रेम मयोहारी
जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
कृष्णस्य द्रविणं राधा राधाय द्रविणं हरि
कृष्णस्य द्रविणं राधा राधाय द्रविणं हरि
जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
कृष्ण प्राणमयि राधा राधा प्राणमयो हरि
कृष्ण प्राणमयि राधा राधा प्राणमयो हरि
जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
कृष्ण द्रावमयि राधा राधा द्रावमयो हरि
कृष्ण द्रावमयि राधा राधा द्रावमयो हरि
जीवने निधने नित्यम्
राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
कृष्ण गेहे स्थित राधा राधा गेहे स्थितो हरि
कृष्ण गेह स्थित राधा राधा गेह स्थितो हरि जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
कृष्ण चित्त स्थित राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरि
कृष्ण चित्त स्थित राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरि जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
नीलाम्बरधर राधा पीताम्बरधरो हरि
नीलाम्बरधर राधा पीताम्बरधरो हरि जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवने निधने नित्यम् राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम
वृन्दावनेश्वरि राधा कृष्णो वृन्दावनेश्वरा
वृन्दावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्ण वृन्दावनेश्वरा जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण प्रेममयि राधा राधा प्रेममयो हरि कृष्ण प्रेममयि राधा राधा प्रेममयो हरि जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम जीवने निधने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, shall I do the translation?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Radha is made of pure love for Krishna and Hari is made of pure love for Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is the treasure of Krishna and Hari is the treasure of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha pervades the life force of Krishna and Hari pervades the life force of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is totally melted with Krishna and Hari is totally melted with Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is situated in the body of Krishna and Hari is situated in the body of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is fixed in the heart of Krishna and Hari is fixed in the heart of Radha. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha wears cloth of blue color and Hari wears a cloth of yellow color. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter. Radha is the mistress of Vrindavan and Krishna is a master of Vrindavana. Life's greatest wealth is Radha and Krishna, my eternal shelter.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully sung. This very beautiful kirtan by Jiva Goswami. It is also officially Yugalastakam. Very beautifully done. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, shall we move on to the next part of our program? Premadvani, sorry, Mangalacharan prayers by Bhaktini Hemalata Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, if you are happy.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjansalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitascha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenbandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapt Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च
कृष्ण चैतन्य
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम
नित्यानंद
राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully done. Mangalacharan prayers. Thank you so much, Mataji. We have got His Grace Navadvip Chandra Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Navadvip Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam.
We should all welcome Prabhuji with a 3 loud Hari Bol. Prabhuji used to come in our Sangha, initial stage of our Sangha, and Prabhuji kindly came back from his busy schedule and gave us the time. We are so blessed. We are so happy. We don't need to give Prabhu's introduction. We all know about Prabhuji's everything. Prabhuji is from Oxford. He is Oxford scholar and with our temple since 2017. And we are so happy to have you back, Prabhu. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. It is nice to be here again. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. That is good. So it has been a long time, actually. I don't know when the last program I did for Uxbridge was. It was maybe
2 years. 2 years back.
2 years ago. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
2 years.
It is a long time. And today has been a day of programs for me. I've just got back from 2 programs. So this will complete the auspicious 3. And so you can tell me if there's anything particular you would like me to talk about. I can
Prabhu, Chaitanya, on Chaitanya Charitamrita, you gave a class. I know you can't remember either. I can't. But there was a line I remember, Amla Tola, on that shulak, and you gave a nice class. If you can do that one, will be really, really nice. I really enjoyed. I want all our Sangha members to enjoy that as well. That's so good. That's one in Haveli.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I'm afraid what the details.
Any topic on Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Do you have any suggested topic?
Amuka Prabhu.
So Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's at Jagannath Puri. So whatever the topic that you think is more relatable for all of our devotees. They're all elevated devotees, so all chanting and doing everything. So they wanted to taste the nectar of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So yes, Prabhuji, so whatever you feel is more relishing for us, so kindly take it.
Okay. Yes, let me try something along those lines.
Yeah, and also Prabhuji, so before we start, and we have got Premadvani prayers, if you could would like to do the Premadvani prayers, or if any, yeah. Hare Krishna.
You will be doing them, or you want me to do them?
If I can share the screens if you are happy to do it, so then we all if you lead it and we all follow you with the Jaya.
Okay. All right. Jayam Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvarajkacharya Stottarashata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Kaviraj Kacharya Ashtottara Siddha Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki
Jai.
Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kundi Giri Govardhan Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Jagannath Puri Dham Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Ganga Mai Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Yamuna Mai Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi Ki
Jai.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki
Jai.
Sam Nitai Gaur Premanande
Hari
Samaveta
Bol.
Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
All
Bol.
glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Shri
Hari Bol.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Swamgatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sujeevam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Nanda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya
Jaya
Jaya Sri
Jaya Shri Chaitanya.
Jaya
Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Jaya
Shri
Sri
Chaitanya Jaya
Jaya
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jaya
Daita
Dvaita Chandra
Jaya
Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jaya
Daita
Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki.
Jaya.
Jai.
So the world of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is of course vast, and we are actually really very fortunate to have such descriptions of this very confidential personality. To call him an avatar might not be sufficient. He is so much more than that, because he is Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself, in the mood of his internal potency, Srimati Radharani. So this is actually a very, very special appearance and a very special form. And of course, when Lord Chaitanya comes, he comes not alone. He always comes with his companions, as Krishna does. Sangha upanga astra parshadam yagnai sankirtana prayer yajanti sumedasaha. You know this verse, right? That Lord Sri Krishna, he comes, Krishna Varanam Tusha Krishnam. That he comes and his color is a Krishna. It is not blackish. It is something else, which means it is golden. And this is the special covered incarnation that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So as the Chaitanya Charitamrita deals with the adventures of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so therefore there is a great deal of information about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And not only that, because of course he comes with his Anga, Upanga, Astra, Parshadam, he comes with all of his different weapons, confidential companions, associates. So a great deal of time is given into discussing his associates, especially his principal associates, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhar Pandit, Sri Srivas Thakur. These are very special personalities. Who knows the verse Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam? Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So these are the 5 features of the Lord. That he comes in the incarnation of the devotee, the form of the devotee, the internal potency, the Supreme Lord himself, Advaita Acharya. You can analyze this verse in detail if you like, but it is really describing the roles and functions of the Panchatattva. And entire chapters are given to each of these persons. Chapter 5 in the Adi Leela speaks about Lord Nityananda extensively. How Lord Nityananda is the original personality, and how he actually is the fountainhead of all other incarnations. So Lord Nityananda is spoken about, and following that in chapter 6, there is Sri Advaita Acharya, who cried very, very loudly for the Lord to arrive. And his role is exemplary also. And so we actually have in the Chaitanya Charitamrita the appearance of the Lord, but also some details of his confidential associates who are part of his appearance Leela. Now, of course, we know his direct mother is there, Mother Sachi, and how while she was carrying Lord Chaitanya, she became effulgent, so effulgent that everyone was mesmerized. The demigods came and they offered their prayers to her, sometimes unseen, and she would detect all these wonderful signs inside the house. And everything was becoming auspicious. Jagannath Mishra would be out and then people would be giving him random gifts. And in this way, there was something very mystical going on there. And of course, their own devotion is exemplary. Mother Sachi's great devotion, Jagannath Mishra's great desire to serve the Lord, to please the Lord. And there, of course, are so many other reasons for the Lord's appearance, his personal, internal, confidential reasons, also certain external reasons. And so when you take it all together, the situation of Kali Yuga, the Lord's own mystical timetable, his own personal desires, the desires of his devotees, the efforts of his devotees, all of that creates a very, very special circumstance within which the Lord can appear and conduct his Leela. You see how multiple factors are involved. The wishes of the devotees, the Leela of the Lord, his own sweet internal desires. All of these are great factors. And then we know what Leelas he conducted. Extensive preaching he did in the Chaitanya Charitamrita throughout his life, really. And of course, there are 2 key books which deal with Lord Chaitanya's life. One is the Chaitanya Bhagavat, right? which was also prior to that known as the Chaitanya Mangal. And then there is the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and of course Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. And so, whereas the Chaitanya Bhagavat deals mainly with the Lord's Poganda, his youthful activities, his activities as a small child, and in many ways, his activities are a sort of reflection or a replica, recreation of some of his own pastimes as the little cowherd boy in Braj. Many elements of that come out in his Leela. So those are discussed more extensively in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we read the words of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he explains that he has tried to include and describe those pastimes which were not revealed so much in the Chaitanya Bhagavat by his predecessors. And so we understand from the Chaitanya Charitamrita a much deeper philosophical development of the tattva of Lord Chaitanya. And then especially his more serious activities in connection with preaching, extensive preaching. And then his final Antya Leela, which is actually very, very severe in many ways. His residence in Jagannath Puri, his rather esoteric behavior, inconceivable behavior. And these secrets, these details are given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I always enjoy reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and every so often I give a class on it whenever the time comes around at the Mana or other places. But I'm always very much attracted to Lord Chaitanya's preaching, his special preaching activities with various individuals. Prakashananda Saraswati. Then we have Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Prakashananda Saraswati, this meeting happened in Varanasi. And he was the head of the Mayavadis there, and Lord Chaitanya came. And he employed a special potency there. He was in the courtyard outside, and he displayed his effulgence, his beauty. And all these Mayavadi sannyasis, these great, staunch, austere sannyasis were immediately awestruck. Who is this creature? What is this person? Where has he come from? They became a little favorably disposed towards him, and then they spoke to him, and the conversation took place. And then by the end of it, we know that Lord Chaitanya preached to them, took them from their Mayavad path, and turned them into devotees, pure devotees of Lord Sri Krishna. That was his supreme, magnificent potency. With Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, something simple happened. Similar, in one sense similar. Of course, the details are different. And this was in Jagannath Puri. And the Lord had gone to the temple of Lord Jagannath. And he had, in great ecstasy, been there. And he created a little scene because he became a little ecstatic on seeing Lord Jagannath. And then he entered into different stages of trance and then fell unconscious. So they didn't really know what to do with him. What to do with this great personality who has just done something inconceivable. And so somehow they took him to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, right? That is the story. And somehow he had the chance to render him some service there. And as a result of this, they had some discussions. Lord Chaitanya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had discussions. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very concerned because he considered that Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas from an inferior institution, right? Not the topmost Mayavadi sannyas school that he was hoping for. And the Bharati Sampradaya and all of that, that's all described in detail. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thought, I will do some service for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he proceeded to instruct him for some time, for a number of days. And Mahaprabhu would just be peacefully listening. Then after, I think it was 7 days, I can't remember the exact number, I think it was 7, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, okay, now you've been listening to me for a long time, but you've never said anything. What is your feeling? My intention is that I would like to give you first-class sannyas, in a first-class system of discipleship. And therefore, I would like to instruct you what you have not heard about so far, how to become a proper sannyasi. You are a young sannyasi and therefore very prone to being misled. And of course, Lord Chaitanya's great beauty was there. So there's always a risk when you have a very young, handsome, beautiful man taking sannyas. This is risky because naturally such a person will attract attention from young, beautiful ladies, right? And that may not be so conducive for that person's sannyas development. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had this desire that I will teach you the strong principles of Vedanta by which you will not feel any inclination of material attraction and therefore fall down. So he proceeded to instruct him for some time. And Lord Chaitanya was hearing, and at one point he said to him, so what is your opinion on what I have said? Lord Chaitanya thought for a moment and then he said, actually, I've been hearing very carefully what you've said and somehow it doesn't appeal to me. Somehow I don't really understand it. The glory of Krishna is self-evident in the Vedas. In the Vedas, in the literatures, Krishna's glory is evident. His qualities, his pastimes are described. But somehow your explanations are like a cloud. They're covering that natural glory of Sri Krishna with this impersonal layer, which actually hides the Lord from his natural revelation in the scriptures. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was dumbstruck. You can imagine, here is someone he considers to be his junior, his inferior, and he's a bit surprised. Of course, you know, as the conversation proceeds, Lord Chaitanya proceeds to give some very dazzling descriptions of the Lord, very strongly refutes the arguments of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And with his potency, he manages to do something which all the other persons that have tried, like Gopinath Acharya and others, who tried to rectify Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Lord Chaitanya does that over some time. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya composes a number of verses in glorification of the Lord. And his transformation is so complete and so ecstatic that once upon a time, Lord Chaitanya comes to visit him. After taking darshan in the morning, he comes to see Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is still in bed. And he comes and he says, look, I have brought some Mahaprasadam for you from Jagannath. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately gets up. Without washing his hands, mouth, or anything, immediately takes that Mahaprasadam and eats it straight away. And Lord Chaitanya says, my dear Prabhu, what is going on here? You are disregarding the standard etiquette. One should be clean. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, yes, one should be clean, but Mahaprasadam itself is supremely pure and supremely clean, and it must be honored immediately. It transcends any and all other circumstances. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, you have understood the reality. You have understood the potency of Lord Jagannath and the potency of his Mahaprasad. And therefore he was very, very happy with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Then later on he met Ramananda Roy, again recommended by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And in this way further conversations took place. And so you can see through these special interactions of the Lord that the Lord has great compassion for everyone. Whatever their suffering condition, whatever their wrong choices in life, whatever their misdirected learnings, the Lord has great compassion for them. And somehow, according to his sweet will, and according to a receptivity on the part of the listener, the Lord is prepared to rectify them. This is very reassuring for us. Another example is, of course, the Digvijay Pandit. Right? And this Digvijay Pandit would be touring the whole place, arguing with people. And you would argue with them logically, defeat them, and then get them to sign this scroll he was carrying around. I was defeated by the Digvijay Keshav Kashmiri. And he would do this wherever he went. So then he heard about Lord Chaitanya, who himself was a formidable scholar in his youth. Right? He would also argue with everyone. And to the extent that some of his associates were mad with anger sometimes, like Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Because Lord Chaitanya had not yet started to display or to enact his divine devotional leela fully yet. He was still the exquisite scholar who would argue, tease, annoy, irritate everyone. He would sometimes have arguments where he would make some argument and defeat the other person. Then when the other person accepted defeat, he would say, actually, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. And he would then argue from the other side. And then he would defeat the original argument he had made. So the person who was defeated was like completely confused. Then he would reverse it again, and he would defeat his most recent argument. In this way, he used to irritate all of those who were simply interested in pure devotional service. So this Keshav Kashmiri Pandit came across Lord Chaitanya. They arranged a meeting, and he composed these verses on the Ganga, right? That's the pastime. Mother Ganga, 100 verses or something straight. Just straight off from his mouth, without thinking, without planning, without a PowerPoint presentation. He just composed some verses. And Lord Chaitanya was listening. And then he interrupted him. Then he gave his purport. He said, actually, this verse is wrong, because according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar, it should be this word and not this word. And first of all, this Digvijay was just dumbstruck. This was the first occasion someone had actually even remembered the verses he had spoken, let alone challenge them. Imagine, this was such a capable, competent person that he would just reel off verses. And so first thing he was amazed by was that this person remembered all the verses. Then he pointed out the multiple flaws in the verses. And by the end of it, he was just lost. He was just lost. Lord Chaitanya was kind to him and he said, okay, we've done enough for today. Let's come back tomorrow and we can continue our debate. So he ran off home and he started praying to Mother Saraswati, who of course he had received a great boon from, that Mother Saraswati would personally dance on his tongue when it came to his scholarly activities. And he invoked Mother Saraswati and he asked her, what's going on? What happened today? Somehow something amazing happened that never happened before. But I was completely defeated. What happened? Have I displeased you in some way, or what has happened? And she said, today is your great fortune, because in the presence of my Lord, I cannot stand in front of him. This Lord Chaitanya is my Lord and Master. He's the Supreme Lord. And I'm simply his servant, his maidservant. And in his presence, I cannot stand in front of him. That is not the culture or the etiquette of the servant. And he said, this is your great fortune, that somehow you have had today the darshan of the Supreme Lord. When he heard this, he was ecstatic. He was overwhelmed. And then, of course, we know the whole story that happens. He goes to Lord Chaitanya, he surrenders to him, offers his obeisances. Another person transformed from being egotistical, worldly, scholarly, to actually receiving some special mercy of the Lord, who in a very unique way, the way Lord Chaitanya dealt with Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, this Digvijay Pandit, all different. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can adopt different techniques for different people. And at the end of it, by his presence, all of them became pure devotees of the Lord. I mean, what to speak of Jagai and Madai? By the mercy of Lord Nityananda, they became devotees. Of course, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya also. So many other persons. What can we learn from all of this? The Lord is very kind. And the Lord may make special efforts to rectify and correct us. But it is far better if we actually surrender to him first. With Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he rendered the Lord service. This is something he did. Even before he knew about him, and even before appreciating his devotional characteristics. Because someone like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was really interested in the Siddhanta, the dry, speculative monism of his Shankara line, his Shankara school. But even before all that was invoked, he somehow rendered service to Lord Chaitanya. And this is one little hint, that somehow if we've had the chance to render service to Lord Chaitanya, he may feel inclined to rectify us of our nonsensical thoughts and behavior. We have been doing nonsensical things for a long, long time. Very long time. And actually, who knows, without the merciful presence or the merciful appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then his Senapati Bhakta carrying that information to us, who knows where we would be now. Because anything we know about Lord Sri Krishna has come to us because of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has given us a very simple process, chanting the holy name, which is far easier in some ways, in terms of practice, than all these elaborate yagyas, deity worship, meditation of the previous ages. Is much, much simpler. Kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Apanaha samsritim ghoram yannama vivaso granan tato satyo vimuchyeta yat bibheti swayam bhayam. Persons who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can immediately be freed if they even just unconsciously chant the names of Lord Krishna, who is feared by fear personified. This is the verdict of the Bhagavatam. This is the power of the holy name. And Lord Chaitanya came and somehow delivered this holy name to the most unqualified people. That is a sign of his great mercy. Often, you know, when in any walk of life, we are looking for qualified people, isn't it? If you are, you want to engage in a business partnership with someone, you look for a qualified person to do that with. If you are looking for something, you look for someone qualified in whatever sphere it is. You don't typically associate with persons who are not of that kind. You know, you don't make friendship, you don't go out of your way to interact with people who are not similar to you or share similar ideas or outlooks on life. But Lord Chaitanya came because he knew that for these people in this age of Kali, there is no other way, that they have even the slightest chance, unless if I don't give my mercy. He put aside all his enjoyment in that sense, and he embarked on his mission to somehow give the holy name to anyone and everyone. During Rath Yatra, people were mesmerized just by seeing his dancing. There's a whole chapter on Lord Chaitanya's dancing at Rath Yatra. That's a wonderful one to read, how he makes these wonderful circles with the devotees. He forms these kirtan parties with certain numbers of mridangas and all of this. And this Sankirtan mission was inaugurated by him. Whether it's the Chand Kazi's pastime, or whether it's the pre-pastime to that, where the devotees were just starting to chant, and this is when the soldiers got annoyed when the Hindus complained about them. It's always funny, right? We think, it's always the Qazi and the Muslims who are causing trouble, but it was the Hindus who complained to the Qazi. We don't like what this one is doing. And then so much trouble came. Then there's the confidential kirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur at Srivas Angan. If you go there and you have a chance to just spend time in that place near Mayapur, just up the road, you can just go, and Vaita Bhavan is there, Srivas Angan is there. It's a nice, wonderful experience. And you can really feel Lord Chaitanya's mercy flowing in these places. Because Lord Chaitanya did something special. He brought with him the treasure house of love of Godhead, all contained within the holy name. And he broke open that treasure house. Imagine you're breaking open a jar of honey or something. Very tasty. And he tasted that honey. He wanted to taste that sweetness. That was one of his internal reasons for coming, no? To taste what it is that Srimati Radharani experiences when she serves him. Then he distributed that to others, to his close companions. He shared it with them. Then he distributed it far and wide. So he did all that. His great mercy was to bring the highest treasure and just to give it out. And the more one aligns themselves with Lord Chaitanya's mission, the more they are eligible and qualified to receive that taste, that mercy. It's somewhat unique and magical in Lord Chaitanya's mission that great knowledge or wisdom is not required to participate in his mission. His mission is so powerful because it is directly empowered by him and all those like Rupa Goswami who he authorized to carry on this mission, that if one just desires to engage in his mission somehow, they become empowered by Lord Chaitanya's Shakti. Lord Chaitanya notices the person. Lord Nityananda notices the person. Lord Nityananda as the original Guru, you can say empowers and instructs that person. He gives them a chance to develop devotional service, to become qualified, and then maybe recommends them to Lord Chaitanya. So in this mission, we just have to have a little bit of a desire to serve the Lord and do something for him. Little desire. And then when the opportunity comes, we should do it. We should take it. Do something for the Lord. We have Kartik month coming up. We have the marathon coming up after that. We have every day of the month, every month of the year after that. Do something for Lord Chaitanya. Opportunities are endless. Whatever it is we can do, let's try it. Somehow we've got to attract Lord Chaitanya's attention. Without that, we really have no chance in this world. No chance at all. Somehow we have got to beg for the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, Sri Advaita Acharya. And only if we get their mercy do we have some hope of remaining strong in spiritual life. We may think that we are strong now. We don't engage in sinful habits, sinful activities. We are doing our japa, we are doing our practice, we may do some preaching. But be very careful. That may not last. Unless you are connected to a steady source of inspiration directly from Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya. When I say directly, it is always through his associates. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, our own gurus. Through them we are connected to the potency of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. And we need that life, we need that electric current flowing, of their mercy. So we have to keep striving for it. And you know what the secret is in this age? It is to do something for the Lord, to broadcast his message, his glories. Tell someone about Krishna. Jare dekho taro kahe Krishna upadesh. Right? Amara agyaya guru hai tara edesh. Whoever you see, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna. Right? Everyone is a guru if they know about Krishna. Whatever you know about Krishna, Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hoy. If you know the Tattva of Krishna, you in some sense are a guru. Maybe not a big guru with a danda and millions of followers, but you can be a guru because you can tell. You can tell your family. You can tell your relatives. You can tell your son, your daughter. You can tell people you meet. You can tell them at work. If you have the confidence in Lord Chaitanya's mercy, you can tell anyone about him because you are getting Shakti from the Lord. And that Shakti overrides any other concerns that you may have. So somehow try to get that Shakti. Some devotees have it. They enthusiastically preach. Persons in our history like Tribhuvanath Prabhu, so many other great persons had Shakti from Lord Chaitanya, and they preached. They sang. They taught. They did hard work for Krishna. Prabhupada is our glorious, glowing Acharya who did this, right? Age 69 on a boat, heart attacks, celebrated Janmashtami on the boat, had so much trouble in all the places he went, traveled the world so many times. Yes, we have no excuse for not doing it. We've had unlimited mercy and unlimited examples of people who do it. So let's somehow try to make it a desire of ours that we will connect with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on this very special mission and somehow become attracted to him. Just by reading his words, just by reading all of Lord Chaitanya's words. Of course, we know Shikshashtakam. Sri Shikshashtakam is the formal written down words of Lord Chaitanya. Right? We know that. Tranadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharina dhanamna janamna sundarim. All of these things he explains in great detail. Somehow all of that is meant to bring us to the point of chanting the holy name. But as we read his words, and there are many words beyond this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in his conversations with multiple people, we understand something of the mood of Lord Chaitanya, the mood of Krishna, what he desires for the welfare of the world. And he values austerity. He values devotees who undertake sacrifices. He would be very happy when he saw his disciples, especially the 6 Goswamis, undertaking great austerities in their service of Krishna. That pleased him somehow. He liked it because, not that he wanted to see his devotees suffering, because he knew that the more austerity or the more penance they undertake in the service of Krishna, each one of their efforts becomes more and more glorified and produces more tangible results than any perfect activity for the sake of material progress. Shrama eva hi kevalam, it's described, right? Any material activities are all shrama eva hi kevalam. But when one undertakes all that effort we normally put in our material life, but actually puts it towards progressing one's spiritual life, it's a great investment. Lord Chaitanya is very pleased by that. And the more we are attracted to the Lord, the less we are attracted to the material world. And that is only positive for us. Nothing negative about it, only positive. Because it means our next birth will be something more auspicious. Something where we have a chance to be in touch with Krishna, to serve him. If we're fully complete in this life, then we'll be in Krishna's pastimes next time round. If not, we'll have more chance to engage in his pastimes. So whether we're engaged in his pastimes here, next year, next life, that will be glorious for us. It will be the best thing that we can do. Somehow, I'm feeling inspired by Lord Chaitanya's mercy at the moment. that it is really what this world needs. It's becoming a very dangerous and difficult world. We look around and we see people are struggling in so many ways. We can look at the politics of what is going on, and we can make our own conclusions. Why do they do this? Why can't we deal with this situation? Why can't we conclude this war? Why don't we just defeat them all? Why don't this, that? Who's right? Who's wrong? We all make up our own ideas. The reality is it's a very, very messed up world. Animal killing is rife. Everyone is crying because someone they know was killed. Someone was hurt. Someone is missing. And on the other side, this is all happening as well. But maybe they're ignoring all the millions of animals they slaughter every day. They're forgetting this. That, okay, this animal also has a family. And I just slaughtered all the members of the family for the sake of my tongue. They do this on a daily basis, millions every day around the world. And they don't see the comparison, the connection. That just as this animal doesn't want to be killed, but you mercilessly kill it, so similarly also this neighboring human being doesn't want to be killed, but you are mercilessly killing him. It's just one example of how Srila Prabhupada said that this animal killing is the direct cause of war. He said that. Because they slaughter so many animals, there will naturally be war. And it will be very degraded types of war where civilians are slaughtered. And truth is, what is truth? It is completely manipulated by various aggressors. Hidden from their own people, manipulated, twisted. What kind of an existence is this? It's a very degraded situation we have at the moment in Kali Yuga. And the world is very much messed up and lacking a central focus of genuine, pure devotion to Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is really the only thing that can save us, save this world. And we've somehow received that mercy. Lord Chaitanya has given us a little drop of nectar from his jar that he's carrying. Let's now give it out to others. Let's practice, actually, whoever you meet, whoever you see, tell them about Krishna. It's really a very great service for the Lord and for yourself, because the two things are never separate. When the Lord is happy, we are fulfilled in complete bliss. Nothing else is required by us. So the devotee's heart and soul is how to please the Lord. What can I do for him? We can all do something for him. We can follow the process that we have been given very carefully. We can do those standard activities with more depth, with more conviction, chanting the holy name, carefully reading the books of Srila Prabhupada and understanding that message, serving the Vaishnavas. We can all do that. You can serve your family to start with. They're Vaishnavas also. Start serving them to make them better Vaishnavas. Encourage them in their Krishna consciousness. If they're children, they need special handling, special encouragement, special adventures in Krishna consciousness to keep them entertained and interested. Well, put that effort in. Put that effort in for their benefit. Vaishnav Seva Sadhu Sangha, when you have a chance to associate with saintly persons who've dedicated their life to Krishna, take that association, grab it. There are many, many devotees in our great society of ISKCON. Many devotees who have done wonderful things for the Lord. Many devotees who, through their own practice and dedication, display wonderful behavior, which you may never see even. But look for these people. When you find them, serve them. Hear their words, hear their instructions. These are things we can do straight away. Then we can also do preaching. We can also distribute books. We can also tell people about Krishna. We can help someone who's struggling. We can exhibit kindness to other human beings. But we should never forget that the best service we can do for someone in this world is to take them out of this world. That's the best thing we can do for them. Making them comfortable in this world is one type of service, and it's okay, but it's not the highest type of service. The highest type of service is to take the person out of this world altogether to the spiritual world, which is completely free from birth, old age, disease, and death. As long as you stay in this world, all your efforts to make someone happy will be a failure. Because every person is naturally going to receive sukh and dukh. So Prahlad Maharaj says something interesting. He says, Sukham aindriyakam daitya deha yogena dehinam sarvatra labhyate daivad yatha dukkham ayatnataha. Just as dukh appears automatically without any effort from us, right? How many of you woke up today and said, today I want to be miserable? No one, right? I hope not. But still, probably during the day, you may have felt some periods of misery. Something happened that was not pleasant, you didn't want. So it came without your invitation, isn't it? That misery came to you despite the fact that it was uninvited. So Prahlad Maharaj also says, this is actually very significant. He also says, Sukh is just like that. Whether we want it or not, happiness will also come to us automatically. It does not depend on our endeavor. Now, this is a shock to most people because their entire day they are spending trying to make themselves happy through so many schemes and programs and projects. But the actual happiness you're going to get, it's already predestined according to your behavior in the past. How it comes about is a mystery. Different mechanisms may be involved. And different tasks you may do may be involved. But actually, that happiness that you will get is already allocated to you. It's a confusing one for the non-devotees. Devotees, it's very easy. That this world of sukh and dukh is not my world. I'm not actually interested. Pain and pleasure today. Pleasure and pain tomorrow. More of it the same day. It's next day, next week, next year. All the same stuff. So devotees are not interested or don't make it their life's mission to simply pursue pleasure and avoid pain. Because they know it's out of their hands. Rather, they take whatever energy and time they have and put it into escaping this world fully, because that is in their hands. When you develop a strong desire to be free from this world and connected to Lord Chaitanya, then Lord Chaitanya will give you special information, special power, special potency, empowerment. And then next life is not going to be like this one. Next life will be better devotionally. And it may even be your last life in this material world. Isn't that worth looking forward to? That is the kind of charitable behavior we need. And it all depends on our own conviction. We have to have great conviction in what Srila Prabhupada did at that advanced age. As I'm getting older, I'm appreciating it more and more. It's not easy to do that at his age. Most people are thinking, how can I work hard now and make a comfortable situation when I retire? Here is a person, Srila Prabhupada, who spent 20 to 30 years of his life preparing for his eventual preaching mission. From Jhansi and from all those places distributing back to Godhead in Calcutta, he was preparing to spread Krishna consciousness and do some service for his Guru Maharaj. Easy, and at that advanced age to leave. So let's just think, we've got certain abilities now. Let's just use that energy now. Don't keep deferring it till later. Who knows when that later will come? Do something now for the pleasure of the Lord. And each day think, what can I do for Lord Chaitanya today? That will really be good. It will be good for you. It will be good for the world. It will be good for the Lord, because he'll be happy. When the Lord is happy, the world is happy. Yatha taror mula nishechanena tripyanti tatskanda bhujopashakaha pranopaharacha yatendriyanam tateva sarvarhana machyuteja. In the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam, it's explained that by watering the root of the tree, all the leaves, twigs, branches, flowers, everything else is fully satisfied. Just as when you give food to the stomach, it satisfies the whole body. You don't have to feed your finger. You put the food in the stomach, and that naturally nourishes all parts of the body. So therefore, by rendering service to Achyuta, Achyuteja, by offering worship to Achyuta, we satisfy all aspects of his parts and parcels, his creations. So all the living entities, any other obligations to Deva Rishi Bhuta Apta. You know that verse, Deva Rishi Bhuta Apta Pitranam. It's there in the first, how one who surrenders to the Lord has no further obligations to anyone. Just try it. It's a wonderful mystical process. Do something for the Lord, he will be pleased, and the world will be transformed. And you'll be transformed. Those are a few thoughts from me from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I've been reading Chaitanya Charitamrita quite a bit recently. And of course, there's so much more we can talk about. Lord Chaitanya's actual details of his mission, his travels, his tour of South India, where he visits all the different places. He goes to Madurai, he goes to Rameshwaram, he goes to Kanyakumari, he goes to the Adikeshav temple. Travels everywhere. Kanchipur. There's all the descriptions there. So it's very interesting how the Lord does his journeys, his trips, his own Gambhira, his own very serious pastimes in Jagannath Puri at the end. How he concludes those. You need to understand these from the devotees to make sense of them. And as Kartik month approaches, we've got plenty of time to attract the mercy of the Lord. Just offer a candle to Lord Krishna, you'll be happy. Ask Lord Chaitanya to please accept this offering. Do something for him, and then prepare for preaching. And especially December, do more preaching, marathon. I do it at all times anyway, but you can do something extra for December. And do something in Kartik. Tell someone about the Bhagavatam, distribute the Bhagavatam, tell them about Krishna, invite them to your house, feed them prasadam, do something. Simple things. Anyone, you can just think, what is it that you can do for the Lord? Our life is service. Any service we do is creating our destination away from miseries of this world. It shouldn't be seen as an austerity or a difficulty. Any service that we get a chance to do, that we beg to do, is creating, like a direct investment in our future destination. Well, let's just do it. Simple. Tell the mind, just keep quiet. I'm not interested in you. I'm just going to serve. The mind will create so many reasons not to do anything useful. Just tell it, okay, you just take a break for a while. I'll come and listen to you next year, you can tell him. For 2 months, don't bother me now. And do something for the Lord. And if you need any ideas, then speak to the devotees. They'll give you so many ideas. What service you can do for Krishna. So many things are possible. Do you have any thoughts, any questions on these points? On Lord Chaitanya's wonderful adventures that we spoke about earlier?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So let's nectar of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So just I have one question. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to the Mayavadis about the apologies, Prabhuji. So Okay, so just yeah, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Mayavadi philosophers about Krishna consciousness, and later on they have been turned into devotees. So that has happened, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the quoted from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So just was wondering why previously all these people, they were speculating, even though the scriptural injunctions, they're clearly saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whether the scriptures were not available for all of them, so that they were not coming Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or how, what could be the situation before, for the Mayavadi's perspective?
Scriptures are vast, and this is where partly the challenge comes. Scriptures are vast, and they say many things. And as it's explained in the Gita, according to one's situation in the modes of nature, one adopts a particular faith. One's faith is in certain modes. And therefore we see in this world, different people are attracted to different spiritual paths. One book, the Gita, or the Bhagavatam, or the Vedanta, the Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, contains so much information. You actually need a guru to help you understand that material and to understand which elements of it are meant for you to follow. Because the scriptures are vast and they deal with the total reality of everything. They will give information about the material world. They speak about the impersonal Brahman. They speak of oneness with God. They speak of Paramatma. They speak of the yoga processes, Ashtanga Yoga, right? They speak of the yoga ladder, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Which of these should I be doing is not clearly answered until you meet the Guru, until you meet the right Guru. Because the scriptures present, and depending on your qualification, you may or may not adopt one or more of those practices. If you have some prior spiritual qualifications, you may be taken towards following the correct recommendation for you right now. But not everyone will do that. They may be reading the scripture and they may have been guided by their gurus to follow the monist path. Therefore, when they read the scripture, they will see everything that is written about Krishna and they will focus on that feature of his. In one sense, it is their fault. In one sense, it is not their fault. It is just part of the adventure of that person's spiritual journey. Somehow each person has their own path to follow. And it's a meandering path because each person's desires are their own. And sometimes people will be more or less attracted even to certain paths. So this is the first thing. First thing is that the scriptures present many things, and it is not always clear which is the clear path for a particular person to follow. Then the second thing is at different points in our life, we will have a different attraction for different aspects that are found in the scripture. Certain things will make perfect sense to us when we are young. As we get older, maybe they don't. Maybe something else appeals to us more. Sometimes people have had just their experience in life. Sometimes they've had such troublesome experience dealing with other people in this world that what is desirable for them now is a philosophy that teaches them to not have to interact with people. So they like the philosophy of oneness or even voidism, where there is no variety of relationships with people because they are so troublesome. So that experience has clouded their judgment. So then the Guru has to come and cut through that nonsense. And the Guru has to say, yes, relationships in this world are troublesome, but there is the real, original, pure, the Adi Rasa with Lord Krishna that every single living entity has a right to and deserves. That relationship is the one that you should be cultivating, not rejecting it just because of your bad experience with relationships in this world. Don't remove the concept of relationship. No, you've just been doing it wrong. Your prime relationship is with Krishna, because he's the Supreme Lord and has a relationship with you life after life. All the past lives, all the future lives, and the current one. No one else meets that criteria. So don't forget about Krishna. And then understand how, as in connection with Krishna, you can have very fulfilling and satisfying relationships with all of those around you, with Krishna at the center. So you need a guru to tell you that. Prabhupada came and taught us. But in the Shankara Sampradaya, they received different training. Right? They received different training. They received training of how to become one. Maybe how to understand only the impersonal Brahman, how to understand that the Lord is formless. That was the training of their gurus. Part of the different options. So rather what we do as devotees is we try and look for some way to appeal to some aspect of their life so that they may be attracted by what will actually give them pleasure, which is connection with the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. All we have to do is just try to do that. And we can look at our own lives. They've been so turbulent, maybe. We've done so many silly things in our life, maybe in the past life. And let's just be very grateful that somehow, by the mercy of Krishna and the devotees, we are now on a better path than maybe we were in the past. So that whole history as to why we make choices, that is impossible to understand. Multiple combination of factors, one's own desire, the according to which one then chooses certain recommendations from scriptures, the nature of scripture itself, which is meant to be read with a guru. In fact, scripture can remain hidden. Scripture, in some cases, as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj has said, is not written in a straightforward, easily accessible manner. It is hidden. The contents, the details of it are hidden. And one actually needs a bona fide member of a sampradaya, empowered by the Lord to reveal those contents to us. There are multiple reasons. All we do is we try and somehow make sure that now a person comes to the right straight path and sticks to it. Anything else from anyone? Most of you are incognito. I can't see you actually, so it might be nice if you could turn on your camera so I can maybe see if I recognize anyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I turn on my camera. Oh, sorry, somebody else want to. You recognize me.
Nice to see you, Mataji. Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna. So I was thinking,
Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about the idea that the Shastras teaches us not to assume people know something or not know. So assumption is not a good thing to practice. So I was thinking about how did the discussion between well, it wasn't a discussion, it was the reception of Bhattacharya to Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu sat there for 7 days and he was relating all these instructions to him. What's the learning from that? It's 7 days. Who would endure that? I know it's the spiritual world, but at the same time, what's the learning for us in the material world?
Yes. Maybe one point is that we have been engaged and have been churning this material world, its concepts, for a long, long time. And at a certain point, we need to actively churn them again for the purpose of having them purified. All our misconceptions need to be dealt with. Not that just we ignore different issues or different types of outlooks that we've had in life. We may need to churn them a bit and actually meditate on them, bring them out and seek correction. This can be something quite powerful. For gross materialists, when they first meet a devotee, they can actually make rapid advancement because it is such a great boon, and the philosophy is so mind-blowing that most people are left just enlivened, you know. After some time, maybe practicing in devotional life, maybe we can, in a more sort of mature mood, we can maybe consider those items that we haven't fully dealt with, that might still be there, that maybe we couldn't be bothered to bring them out because we were focused on some other aspect of spiritual life or some other priority. And therefore we've covered certain things and they've just been there inside us. But we have to get rid of them, actually. They have to be dealt with. And one lesson from this may be that we have to actually, in the appropriate circumstance, we have to reveal our mind correctly. Now, in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's case, he was trying to instruct the Lord out of a great desire for the Lord's welfare. He himself was misguided, but his desire was good. Now, in this analogy, for us, it may be appropriate to reveal our mind regarding certain things that we feel haven't been fully churned and worked through. It may be our approach to spiritual life. It may be certain things that have been in our mind troubling us, or certain things that are suppressed. But it may be good to actually have a chance to air it to someone else. From that person's perspective, just like Lord Chaitanya was hearing, it's all nonsense, right? What Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was speaking was all nonsense, but it was very much dear to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and it was his existence. So Lord Chaitanya patiently heard it. So we may also maybe find someone who will be willing to hear us. If we are sincere, and we're not just wasting the person's time by just telling them some mumbo jumbo from our mind. We are genuinely trying to identify what are those things that maybe I've held back in my life for some time, maybe for some years, maybe. Is there something that I would like to discuss and just reveal to that person with the hope that that person may be able to, with the sword of knowledge, jnana, right? Jnana asina, with the sword of knowledge, cut through my misconceptions and give me some clarity. Maybe that is one way to look at it. This is a very nice way to look at it, and it's because it's not easy.
Yeah, and you do encounter that when you approach people in book distribution. That how do you approach these people? How do you mustn't assume, but give them a chance, and also you can actually develop a lot more to give as well.
Mm. Thank you. Mataji, you also had a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes,
Thank you.
Krishna. Prabhu, thank you for the beautiful class as always. Prabhu, my question is, in the light of preaching, we say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Jare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh, but simultaneously we see that one of the aparats in Harinam is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. So Prabhu, how do we strike the balance when it comes to preaching? It appears to be quite contradictory.
You simply have to use your memory. We should give the chance to everyone. That is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan mission, that you give the chance to everyone. If some people from that initial chance are proven to be inimical or offensive or troublesome, then we don't approach them again. but give everyone a chance. And the depth and the deep realizations of the holy name and the glories of the holy name specifically, this is where this prohibition comes from, to reveal, to instruct the glories of the holy names, right? To a faithless person. You don't have to instruct such details. You just give them a chance to hear the holy name and tell them that this is a specially powerful transcendental sound vibration. If they're then receptive, over time you may reveal more and more to them. But we give a chance. That's what we do, at least, and we take the risk. Prabhupada said at one point, it's a risk. You take a risk. You don't know what will happen. Yes, you're at risk of breaking this rule. But Lord Chaitanya likes it when a devotee takes a risk for the person's ultimate welfare. And we are happy to even suffer if we break that rule. But if our mood is that we are happy to preach, then ultimately that's our saving grace. So we just try, that's all. And
Prabhu, sorry, on that same context, I'm just wanted to add, what will be the ideal book for a non-devotee we approaching for the first time and who are very intellectual materially, to offer them the first book of Srila Prabhupada? Which book will be the ideal, Prabhu?
Sometimes what is best is not what we think is best, actually. You might sometimes meet a highly intellectual person and you're thinking, let me give them the most intricate thing. And for some people, something like Science of Self-Realization is good. It contains conversations with some intellectual persons. Prabhupada had discussions with different priests and different thinkers. There are some interesting points that come up with that. Sometimes for an intellectual person, you may be wasting your time if you're going to start argumentatively, logically trying to convince them of something, because possibly their intellectual abilities are higher than yours. It's a fact. And their ability to argue may also be better than yours. They may not have any substance, but they may still be able to defeat you simply because they're more expert at that. Sometimes it might be better just to give them the higher taste. Just tell them how to cook something.
Thank you.
Give them some prasadam. Carry some sweets with you and give them a sweet. That will just get them to shut up at least. and they will be transformed from within.
Yeah. I sometimes get confused because I read. I was very interested by reading Life Beyond Death and Science of Self-Realization. It's two different things. Life Beyond Death is so flowful, like it says everything about what will happen, what is happening, and the other one is the conversation between two. So I just think that which way shall we approach? It
doesn't have to be just those two also. In the Gita, it says that one who explains this sacred conversation of mine is very dear to me. The Gita contains so much intricate, clearly presented material that it can blow one's mind. There's some quote, isn't it? Ralph Waldo, who said, someone said, I owed a fine day to reading the Gita. It was mind expanding in one sense, words to that effect. Well, our books are potent. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. How the books act is not actually quite in our control. Any of the books can achieve amazing results. And so can your presence also. And it all starts just with a desire that I wish this person to be benefited somehow. If that is your mood, Lord Chaitanya will make sure you have the right book in your pocket and you'll have the right words to say to them. And maybe even no words are required sometimes. Because Lord Chaitanya internally can just do something. It's Paramatma.
Thank you.
It just depends on one's desire.
Very good.
Yes, anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the wonderful session, Prabhu. I just wanted to ask one question. When we try to preach outsiders, so it will be like sometimes with the follow-up, they will be interested in the process. Like when we continuously saying them or continuously giving them something, they may interested. So sometimes the devotees say, like when we continuously do follow up, they will hate the process, or they will be hesitant to come to these things. So how we can identify like when to follow up with someone, when to stop, like when to leave, because we know every soul has their own journey. So when should we decide to follow up with someone, and when should we leave them like in their own ways? Like how can we differentiate with the normal materialistic people when we try to preach?
You can pray to the Lord, because he is guiding everyone, and everything in this world is working under his direction. And you can pray to the Lord for guidance and ability to help someone in their spiritual journey. Any formula will not work. There cannot be a clear formula to this question, because certain things happen in mysterious ways. And when you're dealing with people's lives are also not according to a rigid formula. Many factors are involved. So we try and we try some follow-up in some way that we think is suitable for that person. And we can also be creative in how we follow up. It may not be that every time we meet the person or we contact the person, it is a philosophical interaction. That may put off some people after some time. Maybe the next time you meet someone, you give them some prasadam. Maybe the following time, you invite them to the temple. This is why the temples that have been set up by Srila Prabhupada are so important. Because people can come to the home of the Lord. And that experience itself will be it will have such a big effect on them. Many questions will be just answered or removed. Maybe new questions will also arise, but some special contact and progress will take place. So have in your mind a varied set of activities that you will do as part of follow-up. What is the current type of follow-up that you do, or that you have tried?
It is like we'll ask them to read Prabhupada's book, or we'll ask them to chant. So sometimes they will do chanting, do reading, but some people, when we ask, they will not attend the call, or they will. So sometimes when we follow up, after 2 or 3 follow up, they come to the process, or sometimes they don't. So sometimes they will discourage another people also. They will be behind us for entire our lives, so they will not leave us. So like that, they will complain to the people who come regularly. So like, so how to, so I was confused, like how is there any way like we can identify like this? Sometimes some people will try to destroy the entire thing, like they will come and complain the people, like don't join them. So like that, both.
So mainly I guess if this is more phone conversations or remote conversations of some kind, yes, you have to be careful not to annoy someone too much. So this is why as far as possible, you try to get them to come to meet real people. And so you somehow invite them to a home or a sangha or something like that. And we should never forget that personal touch, what it can do. It's very good to have all this technology, and definitely it was a lifesaver during the whole COVID phase and allows many people to contact and participate. But there's nothing quite like sitting down with devotees, singing together, chanting together, and having prasadam together. You can't do that online. So somehow keep it as a very strong element of your cultivation, that somehow or other you have to get a person physically into the presence of other devotees. And if within your sangha or within your area, you don't actually have that option for people to come and meet, then think, how can we create this option? Because this is essential. It's very important. How to do it. Maybe you can arrange some system where you invite someone to come with you and you take them to the temple if they haven't been before, whichever temple is closest to you. You can try that. You can encourage them. You can invite them to a home program at someone's house. You decide that. You make some facility to do that. A person's spiritual growth will take place the more time they spend with devotees. Of course, online is excellent also. It's excellent. I'm not saying don't do it. Keep doing it. But you also get some special flavor when you're with people physically. It has powerful effect. So try that however possible.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? I think it's getting quite late actually.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for answering and giving all this nectar and so much of valuable information for us. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have got any questions, so kindly share. So otherwise, we shall move on to the next part of our program with permission of Navadvip Chandra Prabhuji. So next part is Nrsimha prayers.
Yes, so please carry on. I will take your leave. It has been quite a long day for me. So,
Yeah. Before Prabhu leave, we should say 3 loud Haribol for Prabhuji for his nectarian lecture. And we beg to Prabhu to come soon again, Prabhu. Haribol. Unmute everyone, please, and sit down. Haribol.
Haribol. Haribol.
Haribol. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so thank you so much. So next part, Nrsimha prayers by Her Grace Chaitanya Devi Dasi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. So if you are ready, so we can go ahead with the Nrsimha prayers. Chaitanya Mataji.
Haribol. No, I thought, didn't realize it was muted. Haribol. Om Narsimha, Shri Narsimha, Jai Jai Narsimha, Prahalada Desha, Jaya Jaya Padma, Mukhu Padma Bringa, Namaste Narasimhaya. Is Hemalat Mataji there?
No,
okay, I just carry on, shall I? Namaste Narasimhaya, Prahalada Lada Daine, Prahalada Lada Daine, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Srilatankanakalaye, Srilatankanakalaye, Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha, Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha, Yato Yato Yamitato Nisimha, Yato Yato Yam Tato Nasimha, Bahe Nasimho, Hidaye Nasimho, Bahe Nasimho, Hidaye Nasimho, Narasimha Badim Saranam Prapade, Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapade, Tawakara Kamalabhaye, Naka Abhuta Singha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamala Bhare Nakam Abhuta Simha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Jai Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Narsimha Dev Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Jai Jai Prahlad Maharaj ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol
Jai Gaur Premanande.
Jai Gaur Premanande Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully done. Nasima prayers. It's a very long time. It has been a very long time since we hear you.
Hare Krishna, and it's late for me. My throat gets a bit funny when it's late. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Nicely done, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Prabhuji, for bringing Navadvip Prabhu. He's so good.
He is,
And
Mataji.
Mataji and Prabhuji for inviting him. Wonderful, very wonderful class. Everything was beautiful. Bhajan was beautiful.
Yes.
Every recitation was beautiful. Questions were beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Hari Bol. Oh, tomorrow, Prabhu, what's in store for us?
It is first canto, second chapter, verse number 15.
And you're going to allocate for us?
It is for everyone, Mataji. So recitation of 3 times and just
Okay, Hari Bol.
we go deep into this verse. Yeah.
So 1, 2,
15.
15. Thank you, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Have a
Pancha.
one. Oh, yeah. Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.